This is the home of the talk show audience. And here, in amongst the herd, we find the mighty alpha male. He spent the last hour drinking at the watering hole. And soon, he'll be looking for a suitable mate. And now, the audience starts to respond as he utters his characteristic cry.
Let's start the show! Cameron, you're very excited to see Sir David.
I am so excited.
Really?
Yes, I am. I told him backstage we were making a Sir David Attenborough sandwich. He's the meat in the middle of our sandwich right now.
Leave you to it.
We're his slices of bread, you know what I'm saying?
She's nice French stick and I'm an wholemeal Ovis or something. Little bits of grit in it.
Because you did want to be a zoologist.
I did want to be a zoologist. That was what I thought that I was going to be my entire life. I wanted to study the behavior of animals.
I could teach you all sorts of things.
I've learned a lot from you already. Up on backstage, we're not going to mention those.
No.
But I ended up studying the behavior of animals. It just happened to be human animals.
Really?
Yes. You know, as an actor, that's what I do. I study human behavior.
And lots of discoveries?
Yes, lots of
big
discoveries.
surprises?
Big surprises. But I find so many more surprises when I watch your show. Yes.
You should see the outtake.
I would love to. Maybe we can arrange a viewing.
Yes, anytime.
Okay.
We want to celebrate today because it's a huge year for you. Not just the Queen having a Diamond Jubilee, 60 years of broadcasting. Wow. It's a phenomenal achievement. Phenomenal. And still going strong.
Yeah, well, not sure about strong, still going.
Yeah. Is it being marked in some way? Have animals organised a concert? What's going to happen? Is there some big do?
No, we're going to do 3 programmes about looking back over 60 years, yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
But you're still pushing boundaries and breaking new kind of technology. This new series you're doing for Sky, The Kingdom of Plants, in 3D.
Yeah.
It starts on the 26th of May on Sky Atlantic, and it's also simulcast on Sky 3D. And in terms of the film, is what's new the way it's being filmed, or are we still finding out things about the plants?
Oh, surprisingly, lots of things we don't know about plants, you know. There's a plant called sundew, which I think we have here.
Yes, in the clip, yeah.
Well, it's a common plant in this country, you know. There's a couple of different species in the moorlands and so on. But it's a plant which has hairs on its leaves with little tips of sticky stuff on the end, and it eats insects. And when the insect comes in, it closes around and shuts it up. But the interesting thing is that if an insect comes there, that moves over, but this... not these, but this one then moves over. So there's some communication between this hair and that hair, and we don't know what it is. We don't know how it happened.
So obviously the time-lapse cameras on there, but do they wait for a fly to come in, or do they just kind of go, there's a fly?
Oh, you don't do that sort of thing.
Dinner time. And of course, it must have been a joy for you to film this because it was filmed at Kew.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Kew, is that there are plants from all over the world. Plants from the top of the Alpine mountains, plants from the jungles, from the deserts. They're all there.
And not far from your house.
And
No, because that must be such a relief, because even your last television series, they sent you off to the North Pole and the South Pole.
Yes.
Which... that's physically really demanding, isn't it?
Well, only if you do it in 36 hours. But
yes.
I have to tell you, I didn't walk.
You did slacker.
No, I didn't. There was a helicopter, and you have to wait for a helicopter. And while you're waiting for it, you're living in tents, you know. But they're very comfortable tents, warm tents.
But then they send you outside and make you do bits to camera.
Only very quickly. No, well, it is true. But actually, it's a doddle, you know. If you get the right gear, there's no problem, you know. But the difficulty is if things go wrong. If you lose a glove, you may well have lost 2 or 3 fingers, you know.
Yes.
But if you don't lose a glove and you do things right, it's a cakewalk.
Because, Cameron, you did a wildlife series.
I did a little a show called Yes, I Did. I was trying to be like you, but I'm not as well.
Do you strangle snakes? And
Well, you know, I've had snakes. My first pet when I was 11, my mom and dad said, "What do you want for your birthday?" I said, "I want a snake." So I got a snake for my 11th birthday. He was a 6-foot-long Florida king snake named Norton.
You're kidding.
No, really, Norton. Really? Her name was Norton.
Oh. Norton?
You know the Honeymooners? Jackie Gleason?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Norton was his sidekick. It was just one of those things that happened in my family. My household, you can't really explain it. But yes, and I did a show called Trippin' on MTV about 7 years ago where I traveled around and I went to Jane Goodall's to Tanzania. And I had that experience with the chimps there. You know, their morning ritual when they get up in the morning, and the first thing the alpha does is put his bum over the side and take a crap in the morning, then goes and beats the shit out of the beta male, and then goes and bangs the alpha male. Alpha female, sorry. Alpha female.
Wow.
Pardon me.
That footage is worth something.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just the order of things that and then he has breakfast, of course, after that. And that's how his day starts, right?
That's correct, yeah.
So I witnessed the right thing. They didn't.
They weren't acting up because Hollywood's here. It's Cameron Diaz! One of the things that does make your film so distinctive is your voiceovers. They elevate things. They give it a kind of an air of seriousness and enlightenment. And we have a little wildlife clip. Well, I say wildlife, there's an animal in it. So if we just look at this little clip, you may have seen this before.
Such a disappointment.
You feel his pain, don't you? You really do. If we play that again with a bit of music, a bit of serious music, and if you do a little voiceover, let's just see if it elevates it. Okay, here it comes.
Evening falls on the lush grasslands of Croydon as the humble tortoise gently mounts his chosen mate. And in a dance as old as time itself, it rears its head and emits the mighty mating call.
You know, you do learn a lot from watching these programs, but I think the odd thing is they still have the power to shock in terms of the level of violence and things in them. Are you self-policing in terms of what you show, or is there some sort of BBC body that kind of goes, that's too gruesome?
No, people say we show too much. If they saw what we left in the cutting room, the editing room, that we cut out, they would be appalled. I mean, you know, lions, when a lion catches a wildebeest, it eats it alive, you know. And we don't show that. We show it very abbreviated. But you have to be careful what you do, because if you cut it all out, then you're telling an untruth. You're telling fairy stories, and natural history programmes are not about fairy stories, they're about the real world. So you have to make a judgment and do it one in the middle.
And equally, when you're filming the mating, does it get to a point where you just feel like an old perv and you just kind of think, I must still stop filming this now because it's gone on for too long?
You see, your imagination is running away with you.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Have you ever seen birds mate?
I've seen pigeons mate.
Have you? And how quick? It's gone.
Well, there's a lot of flapping about before they get down to it.
That may be that they are showing off to one another, but the actual copulation, like that.
Really?
Yes, it's known as the cloacal kiss.
Did you know that, Kathy?
Well, it's only what I've experienced.
Now it has a name.
Now it has a name.
Thank you for that cloacal kiss. Now, listen, it's nearly time for the red chair, but now, Anna,
Yes.
now, is this a guessing game for Sir David Attenborough? You have an animal
Impersonation.
nation. So is it a guessing game for Sir David?
Well, it could be.
Or is it better to tell him what you're doing before you do it? Or
Yes.
Yeah. I do an impersonation of one of the various and amazing types of New Guinea birds of paradise. And their mating dance.
Okay. Do we need music for this, or
No.
it just happens?
No.
Okay. Where should you do it? Where should Anna do
On the
it?
table for a start.
Well, it's rather big, but it's a rather big display. But
So,
well, the first thing they do is they clean their area, right?
okay, yes.
First they clean their area, and then they make sure it's all good, right? And then they,
It's the male, right?
of course.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna take my shoes off for this thing.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Cleaning. It's perfect. It's perfect.
There are 42 different species of birds of paradise, and I know which one that is. The six-pennant parotia. The six-wired parotia.
Six-wa parotia. Yay!